Welcome back to the channel, Beyond the Curve. I have some really cool videos for you today. I hope you liked them. Please share, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it.
The beings that you call the Grey, that you say are involved in the so-called abduction experiences that have used DNA to create hybrid beings. Are most of you familiar with that, at least?
Yes.
The idea to understand is that the Greys are not actually alien. They are mutated humans from a parallel Earth that destroyed itself.
So if you know who that guy is talking, he supposedly channels an alien from another galaxy or planet, and he tells you what the alien thinks the alien's name is, supposedly Bashar.
They could no longer reproduce. They had to tunnel into other parallel realities, such as yours, where viable human DNA still existed in order to perpetuate their society. In the process of doing that, they created different hybrid races, of which my civilization is one. The idea, though, is that there are also children, hybrid children, that have been created that will eventually also be brought to Earth to live among you. Over the time that passes from that moment forward, there will be more and more blending between the humans and the hybrids until such time as the natural evolution of your planet that you've all chosen to participate in, thank you very much, will be that you become the 6th hybrid race. We are the 3rd.
Wow. So
Did that help?
that did help. Yes.
All right. It's obviously a longer explanation than that, but we'll keep it brief for now.
So am I correct in understanding that using the formula
Yes,
fully and
precisely.
precisely and consistently across the board
Yes,
would naturally culminate in what on our planet is archetypally described as Christhood?
yes.
That's
You will expand the Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature, the Krishna spirit, whatever you want to call it, within yourself and align with that archetypal consensus vibrational level. Yeah. That's the so-called second coming, is the realization of the Christ consciousness within each of you.
How many people think this guy's full of crap? I do.
In the vast, cold reaches of the cosmos, the reptilian alien race, named the Chiakur, ruthless overlords with advanced technologies but little empathy, dominated entire star systems. Their brilliance in genetic engineering was matched only by their cruelty, leading them to create the Greys, biological machines designed to expand their empire. But as eons passed, questions arose. Did these creations merely obey? Or did they evolve, rebelling against their creators? These beings, often depicted with large heads, black almond-shaped eyes, and slender gray bodies, are said to be part of a complex and ancient narrative that stretches across galaxies and eons. The story of the Greys is one of genetic manipulation, interstellar wars, and mysterious agendas that challenge our understanding of the universe and our place within it. But what if there's more to this tale than meets the eye? What if the truth about the Greys forces us to rethink not only what we know about extraterrestrial life, but also our own origins and destiny?
Keep in mind, I don't believe any of these entities come from outer space. I believe they come from inside the Earth and beyond the ice wall from other lands. So keep that in mind as we watch these videos.
Greys are believed to have been created by the Chiakur Empire, an advanced reptilian civilization that mastered the art of genetic engineering millions of years ago. According to some accounts, the Greys were originally designed as clone slaves, crafted through sophisticated genetic breeding programs to serve the Chiakur in their expansive galactic empire. But why would such an advanced civilization create these beings in the first place? Were they simply tools of conquest and control, or is there a deeper, perhaps more sinister reason behind their creation? Could the Chiakur have had a more profound purpose in mind? Perhaps the creation of a species that could survive in harsh environments, or even one that could evolve beyond their control. The notion that a civilization might create life forms only to have them rebel and become a force of their own is a narrative that resonates deeply with human myths and stories. Could this be a reflection of a universal pattern, one where creators and creations are destined to clash in an endless cycle of evolution and rebellion? Physically, the Greys are easily identifiable by their distinct features. Their skin ranges from a dull gray to a pale brown, and their heads are elongated, with minimal facial features, aside from large black eyes with vertically slit pupils. These eyes are often concealed behind dark, biometrical lenses, giving them an even more alien appearance. While many Greys are categorized under the reptoid umbrella due to their origins, there are also subgroups with insectoid, saurian amphibian, or vegetal DNA, an indication of the diverse genetic experiments that shape them. The Greys also vary significantly in height, leading to two broad classifications. Short Greys, typically standing at around 3 to 4 feet tall, these beings are often seen as drones or lackeys, biologically engineered to perform specific tasks or serve more powerful entities. Tall Greys, reaching heights of up to 7 feet, these Greys are generally more intelligent and possess greater authority within their societal structures. They are often depicted as leaders or commanders, guiding the actions of the smaller Greys. But what drives the physical characteristics of these beings? Could the variations in their appearance be the result of different environmental adaptations, or perhaps divergent paths in their genetic engineering? One of the most fascinating aspects of the Greys is their technology, which allows them to travel interdimensionally. This places them at a Tier 4 civilization level, a classification that indicates mastery over space-time manipulation and energy harnessing on a scale far beyond our current understanding. The ability to move between dimensions suggests that the Greys possess knowledge of the universe's structure that we...
If they can move between dimensions, it suggests to me that they're possibly demons. Anybody else think that?
That's how old the Anunnaki were when they came to this earth. They were 1 million years ahead of us already. They were already
I believe the Anunnaki are nothing more than fallen angels, but let's listen in and watch.
1 million years ahead of us when they landed on the earth 450,000 years ago. For 250,000 years, they did the work themselves and left us alone. They didn't even bother with us. And then 200,000 years ago, they decided they were going to mess with us, and they started genetically tinkering us, and they created the Homo sapiens sapien, which is who we are right now. That's how old the Anunnaki were when they came to this earth. They were 1 million.
I don't believe any of that.
They buried the truth once, but the ground is cracking, and what's coming out isn't human. They buried the truth once.
Our tale begins some 450,000 years ago. The Anunnaki, hailing from a distant world called Nibiru, ventured across the vastness of space to Earth.
Ventured across the ice wall or fell from heaven.
Their mission was critical: to procure gold, a resource scarce on their home planet but abundant here, to repair their deteriorating atmosphere. These celestial travelers, possessing advanced technologies and seemingly divine powers, found the resources they sought primarily in the region of southern Africa. However, mining this precious metal proved to be a laborious task.
See, many people believe they came from another galaxy, another planet, and came here to mine gold to fix their own planet, and then got too lazy to mine the gold and created us. Now, I'm a firm believer in Jesus, so I don't believe any of this, but I'm just giving you theories that people believe.
With Part 2, Chapter 16, The Fire of 1666, the battle between Great Tartary and the Grace of Orion. Here are revealed clashes between two powerful civilizations, the Great Tartarians and the Orion Grace, who were in charge of the great human colony during the time of the war between the custodians and the Anunnaki. During the time known as the 1600s, they wanted to start taking over energy systems and seeing the great development of the Tartars. A great scramble to regain control began, possibly by order of the custodians. As London burned with fire, a series of other similar explosions and attacks broke out in other parts of the Anakim's underground cores, unleashing chaos and confusion on a grand scale. The Tartars would soon begin their counter-attack. In what we know as Moscow, Russia, there was a huge center that was attacked by fires that consumed large structures and libraries with ancient knowledge. Advanced defense technology was used to repel this part of the attack and not suffer great losses. But the same was beginning to happen in Beijing, China, and especially in Egypt. The Grey Beings tried to activate ancient Anunnaki technologies to increase power. The Tartars, aware of the importance these structures reflected, quickly intervened. The actual conflict between Greys and Tartarians during the fire of 1666 was a struggle for control of the energy grids, and the latter, with a great development based on free energy, had built a generating and conducting grid that maintained the balance of all known lands within the first dome. Orion Grace, even trying with all their technology to destroy these centers, did not succeed and were partially defeated. This would also mark a before and after in their direct relationship with the custodian leaders in the future. There are also reports that the Tartars were tired of their increasingly frequent abductions of humans. The Greys, when really worried about losing their control, began to use time manipulation technology to try to destabilize the defense of Great Tartary. This caused great natural disasters and turmoil in many parts of the known lands. The Tartars returned everything to equilibrium over time. The conflict culminated in a state of attrition. Although the Greys caused great damage, they could not completely break the defenses of the Anarchy. Although this conflict would be key to understand their technology to defeat them later during the Great War of 1728. Chapter 17, the 1728 Reset. Having lost the war against the Anunnaki, the custodians returned to find their most prized human colony in a state of great technological advancement and rebellion. Fearing they would lose control completely, the custodians again joined the Anunnaki in a treaty to plan a new reset. The reset was carried out through a great mud flood generated by the Anunnaki pyramids combined with controlled explosions to destroy the great cores and centers of the Tartars. During the chaos, some Anakim giants helped many ancestral humans to recross the southern passage and re-establish themselves behind the first dome in the ancestral lands and the Sheki lands. This would lead to the repopulation of the known lands by the seventh generation, the current new humanity. For this, many strict control changes, new diseases, and limiting longevity was absolutely paramount. The creation of the simulation of the universe in the same invisible dome with advanced technology was one of the most powerful modernizations of the custodians that.
See there, he's telling you that the firmament above your head they use as like an LCD TV, or they project their holograms on it to give you your known universe. That's some powerful stuff there, if you believe it.
that absolutely challenge the new humanity on the understanding of their environment, thus creating several filters of fragmentation of society and technology and discouraging exploration along with total manipulation of the loyalists, group of humans located at the top of the hierarchical pyramid that would help these custodial beings against their own brothers for promises of all kinds.
That's what we would call the elite today.
You know, people are always asking where this moon came from. We gotta understand, man, the Zeta Grays live on the outside of the ice wall. They're from a whole different, completely different realm. Earth is a lot bigger than what they told y'all. And the safest way to get to these realms is to go under the earth. Because under the earth, they have tunnels that lead to these realms, and it's not cold. Like, say, for example, you leave outside the realm. If you don't got no spaceship, you're not getting there. If you ain't got some type of aerial craft, you're not gonna be able to get there. So a lot of our ancestors, they take the ancient underground tunnels to get to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all these different places, which are districts. I call them districts. And you can actually travel there through the underground tunnels. And, that's how you can pretty much get to these places. So the Zeta Grays, they came from outside of the ice wall, and they brought the moon. And they are like pirates in this realm, this third dimensional realm. They take over lands, they extract the resources, and they establish a religion to worship them because they're a jealous god. And so Terra, which is Earth, is the center of this whole entire realm. And we used to run this realm, Atlantis, Lemuria, and all these different places. So our ancestors actually left back to our realm to get reinforcements to come back and wage war against these Zeta Gray pirates and their clones. And so when we retake this Earth, everybody's going to have to go back to where they came from, pretty much, back to their own realms. This map is called Terra Infinita, right? So the world is, that you know it, is a lot bigger than what you think it is. Like I said, one of the first things the Zeta Grays did when they got to our realm was capture all the blue Kachita and basically, harnessing the power and using it for their own benefit, to use it as like a soul harvester, to basically trap you here after you die. And if it wasn't there, you would return back to your ancient realms, which is, whatever, the Aurora Borealis that's pushing that energy, that portal, that's where you.
Antarctica, the ice wall that encloses us, is a symbol of colonization from the custodians. This parasitic race, along with two other races, are the ones who are manipulating this earth that we're in right now. The custodians are the ones above the elite, above the 1%, above the government, above all celebrity puppets. They are the ones pulling the strings who created a whole energy harvesting system. They've attempted to colonize other lands as well, but of course Earth was one of them. So let's just read it. They reached a great development in the modification of what? The climate, and it's common that they create great walls of what? Ice around the colonized lands. They've done that before, whatever. They reached that development to be able to do that with their technology. The walls serve them as a great shield to be able to protect or enclose even more the colonized races. Yeah. In this way, it's very difficult for them to what? Escape. Even when they have to leave some worlds by necessity to go in search for another. So, like, colonization people, it's harder for them to get out, and we can't get out. These motherfuckers, basically. And of course, this is only a book, yet I do resonate with it. I feel the words in here are true, to be fair. as there were many old maps of Antarctica where there was no ice. No ice, so of course, them building up the technology to be able to do it, and then they've colonized it. They just put the ice around there, change the climate, you know?
There's maps from the 1500s and 1600s, if you believe those years, of Antarctica being like tropical with all kinds of animals on it. So where'd all the ice come from?
In this video, I'm going to talk about this land that's beyond the ice wall. Name of this land is Lands of Custodians. Now, it's talked about in this book called The 178 Worlds Under the Great Dome. Now, I want to say this. This is for entertainment purposes only. So this right here comes from chapter 3 in the ebook. And this is what they said about the custodians. This parasitic race, as we briefly indicated in the first chapter, are beings that base their technology on attack and defense weapons, using their potential in the discovery, colonization, and exportation of others, as well as the beings they can find. So, guys, after reading that, I started thinking about the story that they told us about colonization that happened here on Earth. So, is this person that wrote this book, are they saying that there's another land beyond the ice wall that has been conquered by colonization, just like here on Earth? So, guys, what you think? Peace, get woke, and keep rising.
My book called The Custodians came about whenever I started the UFO research. This was in 1986. I had been doing past life regression then for about 20 years when I began in 68 till the 1980s. Past life regression and past life therapy. I had not done anything with UFOs or ETs at that time or abductions. But in 1986, in Arkansas, they asked me if I would come and help them with investigations with UFOs. And they were trying to find somebody in Arkansas who could do this. They said they asked a psychologist to help with a woman who thought she had been abducted, taken on board a spaceship. But the psychologist didn't know what to do. He got the person into the scene. They were lying on the table in the spacecraft. Then he just woke her up because he said, I don't know what to ask. I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know what to talk about because this is not in the book. I've not been taught anything about this, so he didn't know what to do. So the first case I did was at an investigation, a researchers meeting where they had 25 investigators and they wanted me to put somebody under at the meeting so they could all ask questions. And it was a woman who didn't know us and we didn't know her. And I said, that's the worst kind of environment, the goldfish bowl environment, that I knew she'd be nervous about it and I didn't know it was going to work. And I was nervous because I'd never tried this kind of a thing before. But it worked beautifully. And that started me as a UFO and abduction investigator. So the Custodians is my 25 years of working with UFO and ET and abduction cases. And as I began to do it, the ETs began coming through the people I was working with and answering the questions and giving us all the information. In that book, I have found the answers to any question anybody would ever want to know about ETs and UFOs. My book called The Custodians came about whenever I started the UFO research. This was in 1986. I had been doing past life regression then for about 20 years when I began in 68 till the 1980s. Past life regression and past life therapy. I had not done anything with UFO.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was void and without form, and filled with darkness. And the Spirit of God moved over its waters. And God commanded, "Let there be light." And light came to be. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Then God said, "Let there be a divide in the waters." And the waters separated. God called the area and the land.
On the second day, the waters cloaked the world in a serene embrace, awaiting the next act of creation. From the boundless depths, a divine vision emerged, contemplating the separation of the vast waters. "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters," declared God, "and a vast expanse unfurled, dividing waters from waters." By God's design, the firmament embraces its role as the divider of the waters above from those below, a testament to divine precision. Celestial beings marveled at the creation, their presence a harmonious echo of the divine will, guardians of the firmament and the waters, and God called the firmament heaven. As the hues of twilight give way to the night, and then to the first light of dawn, so concludes the second day.
And that's how the earth came to be.
By causing a mist to rise from the earth to water the ground. And a river that went through the garden into the surrounding land.
And that's where mankind came from. I don't believe in any of that Anunnaki gray bullcrap about them coming and turning cavemen into what we are today. God created the Anunnaki. He created mankind. God created everything. Jesus is Lord. Well, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I don't believe in any of that stuff other than I believe there's other entities that come from inside the earth and beyond the ice wall. I believe there's a lot more land. There's most likely a lot more land inside the ice wall in our known lands that they hide from us. So I try to keep an open mind, but a lot of people do believe some of those theories, and they do believe that these beings come from outer space, which we can't get to because of the firmament. And I don't believe anybody came here from another galaxy or planet and messed with DNA and created us. I believe we were created by God. We come from God and God only, from Adam and Eve, from Abraham. And some of these entities could be demons, Nephilim, seed of the serpent, all this stuff. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.